Hi, let us continue answering the second question of Bmas examination. The second question here, the following shows the monthly houses rent paid by a sample of families in Muscat. These are the rents. Estimate the mode using formula, round to 3 decimal places, and draw an appropriate graph for showing the shape of the distribution and comment. The formula here is very clear, and to find the mode, first we have to see the model class, and the model class normally is the class with the highest frequency, or it means that the class which is having highest frequency here is 200 to 300. And again, to explain what I can say is that these are classes and these are the frequencies. So the highest frequency here is 27, and according to this one is named model class. Model class is 200 to 300. And since this one is a model class, this is the model class, the highest frequency here, then according to this, now we can answer the question here, and we can find these variables L, W, D1 and D2, and D1 plus D2. L here is the lower limit of the class, so the lower limit of the class L is equal to 200. W is the width of the class, and the width of the class is the difference between the upper limit and the lower limit of the class here. So the difference between the upper limit and lower limit is equal. If you want to calculate it, you can write equal, then 300 minus 200, and it will give us 100. D1 is the difference between the highest frequency and the frequency after, so D1 equal, and we can calculate it here. It is equal, D1 is 27 minus 18, this is D1. D2 is the difference between the highest frequency and the frequency after it, so it is equal 27 minus 12, and press enter. Now we have all the requirements of finding the mode, and now we can find the mode. We write mode equal, and then we can calculate the mode is equal. L is the lower limit, which is 200. You can write it, or you can click the value for 200 here, plus I prefer that to write it, so it is 200 plus W is 100, multiply, and then we see here, I'm just writing according to the formula here. D1 is 9, divide by bracket, then D1 9 plus D2 15, and then close the bracket, press enter. So this is the mode. After calculating the mode, let us see the next question. B, draw appropriate graph for showing the shape of the distribution. Normally, to show the shape of distribution, we use histogram, and the histogram is slightly different from the column chart, where in a column chart we have gaps between the columns, and histogram no gaps between columns. So in order to show the distribution shape, we use column chart, as we use histogram. So drawing the histogram for this data, we highlight the data, and then again here we say insert, and always here for graph we go to insert, and then here we select the column chart here, we click it, and then now you have the graph. This graph now we can make it, change it to a histogram, because still this one is a column chart. To change it to a histogram, you need to right click any of the columns. So right click any of the columns, and when you right click the column, you see data series, data format data. In format data here, now you see this screen here. In this screen you have filler, you have here gaps between columns. That means first we have to change the gaps between column to 0. We make it 0, no gaps, and you see now there is no gaps between the columns. After we can remove the filling, but we want outside borders for the columns. So here, this one, you click filling here, and the filling here there is fill and there is border. So make sure that when you click, you have to make no fill and no fill. Still we need the borders. If you leave it without borders, then it will be, you cannot see anything. So it is better to make that one. Clicking this one again. So here I need the borders, and making the borders here, we have to make it solid borders in order to see the graph. So when we make it solid borders, now I will just make undo here, because first, okay, then here this is the filler, make no fill, and the borders here make it solid line, and after that you can click. Now you see the graph is looking like this. If we ask you to make the to estimate the mode graphically, you need to make a line from here to here and draw a line here, and then after that from the middle you can from the middle or the intersection of the two lines you can find the mode. But since the question here is showing the shape of the distribution and comment, so this is the shape of the distribution. There are 3 shapes for the distribution. One shape is going to the right, or the shape might be left or negative, or it might be equal in both sides, and that one we name it symmetric. Anyhow, before doing that, we need to have the titles for the graph, for the charts. So axis, titles and chart. The title for this chart is histogram for rents, histogram for monthly rent. And here, down here, is classes, rent, and up here is the frequency. Commenting on this graph, it is you decide to comment. If you want to make comments for the graph here, we can comment under the graph here. If you find that, you can also make this one more in order to have more space for writing your comment. So you can increase the size of that, and then after that you can write your comment. So the comment here, according to this shape, the shape or the shape shows positively skewed distribution for the monthly rent. So this is a comment regarding that question. The third question, if we go to the third question, here it is about ungrouped data and some question related to ungrouped data. It is not necessary to be these questions only. We have different type of questions will be asked in the examination. So this is why I said this is a sample from previous examination. So it means that previous examination there are number of examination for the student. At the same time, you might find the person who is neighboring you have different question than what you have. We have so many ungrouped data variables or measures. These ungroup variable or measures, you need to refine, or you need to revise them. All of them are exist in topic number 3 and topic number 5, topic number 4 also. So according to this question, ITM withdrawal amount, these are the withdrawals, and then after that the question here, calculate the following, round to 1 decimal for the above and interpret the result. So you want to calculate the average. Calculating the average here, sometimes you write the mean. So the mean also we use the same. Average is the mean, and it's not necessary to be the mean. It can be mode, median, and range, maximum, minimum, and so on like that. So here average, to calculate the average we write equal average, then double click the word. When you double click it, the computer complete for you the function, and here we have to highlight all the data here and then press enter. Now it will give us the average for this. According to the question, make it 1 decimal place, so we can make it 1 decimal place, and this is 1 decimal. Okay, the next one is the first quartile, and also here to find the quartile we use the word quartile, and because here we are calculating the first quartile, we have to put 1. If we want to calculate third quartile, you write 3, and so on. So the formula is equal QU, and see always Excel function are having the same word, quartile. Double click, and if you see here down, it is show you array and then quart, array then quart, array then quart. So array, it means that your data, then after that quart here it might be quarter number 1, quarter number 2, quarter number 3. So whatever you want to calculate, you have to highlight it. I'm highlighting this one. This is my data, and then I want to calculate the first quarter, so I'll make comma, and after comma here there is quarter. Which one I want? 1, type 1 and press enter. If you want 3, type 3 and press enter, then it will give you this is the first quartile, and we said we want 1 decimal, so 1 decimal will be like this is 1 decimal, this is 1 decimal, The next one is the coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation, or the calculation of coefficient of variation, is to divide the standard deviation by the mean and make it percent. Since here we have mean, remaining to find standard deviation. So the question here, it includes two parts. First, you have to find the standard deviation, find the mean, and then divide the standard deviation by the mean, change it to percent. So here I need to find the standard mean, standard deviation equal, and then I can calculate the standard deviation. It is equal, and it's very easy also to remember the formula. Standard deviation, first two letters from standard, and this three letters from deviation. So we write standard deviation